So in this lecture, I will have to show you the third part of the language and theories development. Okay, so this is actually the behaviorist theory. This is gonna be quick, so you just have to listen and focus and enjoy this video. Okay, let me just share with you the presentation. Okay, so this is of course the third part of the lecture. Okay, we have emphasized here the importance of reading. So, reading develops within the bonding of the mother and the child, or within the caregivers and the child. Reading is a good practice. Keep it. So, I also encourage when you will be a teacher, develop or create reading spaces, and that is like creating a mini library collection in your classroom to encourage reading among your students, regardless of the level, be it elementary or junior high school, or even putting picture books in the kindergarten level. Okay, so this second picture shows about the dynamics of communication between a parent and a teenagers. So there is a different approach when we have to teach or talk with teenagers. They are developing a different personality, or putting a grounding onto themselves and their identity. So it's important for you guys, especially when you become parents soon, that you have to adjust with how the teenagers speak towards you. There is a certain degree of adjustment on interpersonal communication and in developing relationship, sustaining this relationship, close relationship with your kids someday. So as teachers as well, there's a different approach on how to communicate or talk with the teenagers. They are your students and you have to maintain boundaries, but you also have to be friendly and approachable. There must be a balance on striking getting close with them, or disclosing with them, or knowing them, and maintaining your grounds as a teacher. This third picture is showing the importance of small talk. Actually, there are a lot of studies that talked about the importance or benefits of a small talk. Sometimes it's risky to talk to just anybody or a stranger, but definitely the art of small talk is actually beneficial in developing or strengthening our social connections with other people. So, what's the takeaway? I just want to say that you have to seize every opportunity to talk with a child. Use kind words to build their dreams and develop their self esteem. You can do this by putting or reinforcing intrinsic motivation in learning the target language, and that is English. Another, a good word is free. Don't hesitate to compliment others for their fine works. Just be kind in your words and in your thoughts, and just express them to these people, especially to the people who are close to you. The sarcastic side of this is that we tend to be unkind or more rude when we talk with our loved ones or with our family members. It shouldn't sound like that. So we should speak kindly and more with respect with others, regardless of the level of connections that we have with them. And also, be someone who builds, someone who pulls, someone who chooses to be good even if others are not, in our language, actions, and thought. Okay, what is behaviorist theory of language? Well, you just have to focus on the keyword behavior. What is behavior? It is action, something that you do, something that is actually a response to a stimuli or a stimulus. Behavior cannot be managed separately from learning and well being. So, definitely in the classroom, the behavior students, whether they are listening to you or focusing or putting attention, really listening to you is an act of behavior. And why is that important? Because in nature versus nurture attitude or theory, nurture is actually under the behavior side of the discourse. So the child primarily learns to produce language through mimicry, prompting, and shaping because he needs to get fed. He needs bottle or he needs milk from his or her parent or the caregivers. So basically, when the caregiver uses language, then the child would have to listen to it, well, innately, partly, and then try to mimic or try to um, produce language or sounds. So when mother says, "Okay, baby, please drink your milk, 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 milk," and that sound milk is actually can be duplicated by the child through mimicry. What is also prompting? Prompting is like showing something to the kid that encourages him to speak. For example, you have to demonstrate bread or show a bread, then you have to say, this is a bread. It's a bread. Bread. Do you like bread? Okay, so the kid would listen to the word bread, and that is repeated, and that is signified by the actualness of the bread. He can see a bread and he wants it. Maybe it looks delicious or sweet or something. So, yeah. So the baby would then be compelled to produce the DRINK sound, or drink or bread, 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 pai, tinapay, whatever that is, the language that you speak with your kid. So, in this per se, that's how the child learns language through prompting. What is shaping? Shaping is when a child says something, the mother repeats it, or when the mother says something, the child would always repeat it. Shaping. Well, the importance of talking with a child in a normal, ordinary language or with the right grammar is important early in the childhood. This is to say that you should avoid talking, using baby talk with the kids, even though they are only just 3 years old and below. Baby talk will impair the grammar development of your kids. Yeah. So habang bata pa yan, please learn to teach them using the right grammar. But you should speak slower and you should not speak fast to them so that they could actually follow the right use of grammar while they are still young. Okay, so Skinner, the proponent of operant conditioning, says that there are actually four contingencies in learning development or in language development. And what are these? Motivating operations, discriminative stimuli, response, and reinforcing stimuli. Let me focus on this. Okay. So Skinner says that in order for the child to learn language, these four must be needed: response, reinforcing stimuli, discriminative stimuli, and motivating operations. Let me just tell you, what is a stimuli again? A stimuli is something that is in the environment. I repeat, stimuli is something that is in the environment. And that will prompt the kid to produce something or react or behave to something. Without that stimuli, no action will be produced or done by the kid. And what is response? Response is to the action or the scenario in the environment that prompts our reaction or response. For example, a hot surface or a hot milk. So when you have to feed your child with a hot milk, and then his reaction might be like his tongue will feels the warmness of the water or of the milk, that will face would show that he doesn't like hot milk. Then therefore, that is the reaction or response of the kid depending on the context. Reinforcing stimuli. um I'll give you an example. You want your child to walk, and then you show how to walk, you help him to walk, and then the child can see you standing by your 2 feet. So you would like also your child to walk, and so you have to say, walk baby, please walk, walk, come on, follow me. Okay, great, great, great. Okay, those utterances can be actually be reinforced or developed by your kid, the action itself plus the language that you use. So in nurture theory, this could actually because this could actually prove that whatever language is used at home would reflect how this child speaks at school. So if a child speaks bad word or use this particular grammar or speak this way, that is reflective on how the people in his home or in the family or with her family speaks. So it would reflect his background and the quality of life that he has at home. So definitely, you have to observe it, and also you have to measure or become more attentive and aware of those circumstances. Okay, so how does a child, react with stimuli? Or what are these stimuli actually? These are productions from caregivers, human interaction, media, and all other types of stimuli. Okay, media. Actually, when a child laughs while watching a video or social media, in the social media or television or a video, that is actually a stimuli, type of stimuli. But I encourage you guys, 4 or 3 years and below, please do not expose your kids with technology and overexposure. One, because it is highly risky. The brain child development from age 3 below is really crucial. So you have to input more sensory training and social interactions rather than stimuli from media. one, because the neural networks in the brain of the child are still being connected or wired. So when we put high level of stimulation, just like media, to the kid, that might affect the level of focus of the student or of the kid while he is growing, attention span, and all the other implications of that. But other people might say that no, the child could actually like speak, he could actually speak English while watching television. Yes, but his brain is overly stimulated. It would be too stressful, and then his attention span will be shortened, and that will affect his early childhood education soon when he has to listen to a teacher or follow instructions or commands. That would be very difficult to manage, and that might result to a child having ADHD or dyslexia, especially when the child would not be, trained to read books. Okay, so what are the implications of behaviorist theory in language acquisition development? Well, you can read these three. Language teachers must sustain environments that encourage and motivate language learners to make developments in the target language. Language motivation. So there are two types of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And the best part here is intrinsic motivation. You have to let the child develop or love learning or yearn to love. Uh, Yearn to learn. And number two, reinforce class policies and rules that are neither repressive nor too restrictive, such as group reading, paired tasks, and others. So encourage group support or peer mentoring, or when the student has, difficulty to recite or stand in front, call a friend. Yeah, that would help him to stand. That would give him more confidence and more relaxed environment to be able to do the recitation or read the book. What else? I advise the parents and the community to foster a socially healthy and safe environment. So, learning should also be made not only by the school but as a community. So, it's a partnership. Creating safe spaces and productive citizen is actually the responsibility of all the social institutions in the community, the school, the family, and even religion and education. Alright, so that's it for today. So if you have any inquiries and questions, please feel free to get in touch with me.